Hey everyone, my name is Mohammed Koucham. I'm a storyteller from Marrakech. And before I start my story, I hope that you're doing great. I hope that you're safe, sound, and healthy. Here I come with a story trying to entertain you, help you pass these times with a little bit of fun, a little bit of entertainment. And I hope that you would like it. Once upon a time, there was this king. This king, Harun Rashid. Harun Rashid, he was sitting in his royal court. He was sitting in his royal court talking to his ministers, doing what kings does, taking care of his state. Here, out of nowhere, this guard opens the door strongly, slamming the door, shouting at a man whom he was dragging. The king was shocked. What is going on? Why is this guard coming in this state? And he was shouting at that man, the guard, telling him, "Shut up, keep quiet, you're gonna see His Majesty the King." Now here, the guard stood and saluted His Majesty, saying, Your Highness, I come with this man I found yesterday in the middle of the night, roaming around the city with no reason. And you clearly stated, Your Highness, that whomever we catch during the night, he should be brought in front of you in the morning. He should be kept in jail and brought in front of your Great Highness in the morning. So I did. He said, Good job. Now, the king shifted his focus to the man. And then he said, What's wrong with you? What is going on? Explain me your situation. And then the man stood up. He said, Your Highness, my name is Fdel, lkhiyyat. And if I tell you what I was doing yesterday in the middle of the night in the streets of the city of Baghdad, I have to tell you the whole story. The king said, Okay. Your Highness, I'm Fdel, lkhiyyat, the tailor. I have a shop where I make clothes, beautiful clothes out of silk. Any kind of tissue you would give me, I would make a beautiful dress out of it. And then, this one day, I was going out. And I found this chick. This chick, I bought it. I took it with me to my house. Started to take care of it. And then for 3 years' time, it grew up to be the biggest chicken I have ever seen in my whole entire life. The king was kept looking at him. What does a chicken have to do with him out in the streets yesterday? Fdel lkhiyyat was so smart, and he noticed the question marks on his head. And then he said, Your Highness, just bear with me. Now, this chicken, I considered it as my friend. I took care of it for 3 years, but it would always make a horrible mess. It would ruin the house. My wife started yelling at me, telling me to go sell it. I said, No, I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to sell it. I've took care of it for 3 years. I'm going to prepare it and we're going to have it for dinner tonight. The wife accepted. She said, Okay, as you wish. And then he said, Prepare the chicken tonight for a chicken tagine. We're going to have dinner. A chicken tagine dinner. She did. The man went up to his shop and he came back after he finished, fantasizing about that beautiful dinner, the chicken tagine with fries and all that. And then he knocked the door. She opened, his wife. He just got in and she followed him, leaving the door wide open. Now the setup was so beautiful. The table with the fruits, the dessert, the chicken tagine, freshly cooked. As soon as they sat down, the wife spotted the door opened, and then she said to me, Your Highness, go close the door. I said, No, you go close it. I'm not going to go close it. I'm super hungry. She said, No, you're the last one to get in. Go close the door. He said, No. She said, No. And then we started arguing, Your Highness. And then His Majesty was paying attention. Okay, it's like a soap opera, a new episode of the French Prince of Bel-Air, so to say. Okay. Now, he was following carefully His Majesty the King. And then Fdel lkhiyyat said, I suggested we play a game. A staring contest. I told her, I stare at you and you stare back at me. Whomever moves, coughs, sneezes, just make a small signal, a small sign, would get up and close the door. The loser closed the door. His wife accepted. She was strong-headed. Now, they said they prepared themselves. We prepared themselves, Your Highness. We prepared ourselves, Your Highness, and then we started. We said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. We were staring at ourselves just like I've showed you, Your Highness. And then the first hour passed by. Nobody moved. Not her, not me. The second hour, the third hour. In the third hour, Your Highness, me and my wife heard the voice of this beggar roaming around the streets. Said, "Can you please help me? Can you please give me something to help myself with during these hard times? I'm super hungry." Now, if I spoke and said we don't have nothing, I was afraid that my wife would tell me to go close the door. And my wife was thinking the same. If she would tell me to tell him that we don't have nothing, she was afraid that I would go and tell her to close the door. We stayed. The beggar spotted the door open, Your Highness, and then he stood next to the door, looking at us. And then he said, "Please, can you help me, sir, madam?" Again, if I answered him, she would tell me to go close the door. If she answered him, I would tell her to go close the door. So we were both afraid, Your Highness. And the king was laughing on this stupidity. Was laughing on this situation. Now, the beggar, he said, "Allah," making the first step, entered. Nobody wants to answer. Okay, all good. Allah. First step, second step, third step, until he was sitting with us in our table. He looked at me, looked at my wife, and he said, "You don't want to speak? Okay. You don't want to speak? Okay. So you're just going to waste this beautiful tagine out here? Really? Alright, nobody wants to eat? Okay, all good." And then he took the bread, started eating. He started eating so ferociously because he was super hungry until he finished the whole tagine. He went to the dessert, finished the whole dessert. Oh my God, what is going on? I was going to tell him stop, but I was afraid that my wife would tell me to stand up and go close the door. My wife, she thought about telling me to tell him to stop. She was afraid that I would go and tell her to close the door. The king was laughing his heart out. Then the man, when he finished, Your Highness, he went to our kitchen. He took our oil, our powder, our fruits, our veggies, everything. He emptied our kitchen, Your Highness. But once he came back, he took one of the bones, one piece of a bone, he made a necklace out of it, and he put it on my neck. And the king kept on laughing during the whole story. He kept on laughing during the whole story. And then he said, Your Highness, once he got out, I couldn't move, nor my wife. We couldn't move. Once he got out, we heard the barking of this dog. Oh my God. I was talking to myself saying, now if I speak, my wife would tell me to go to close the door. And then the dog was barking. Ruh! Can somebody feed me? Ruh! I need some food. Ruh! I want to eat. Now, oh my God, this door is open. Beautiful, tasty bones. Can I please come in? Nobody answered? Okay. Can I come in? Nobody minds? Okay. Oh yeah, I'm next to the table. Beautiful bones. And then that dog, Your Highness, started eating the bones. He ate the bones and everything, making a lot of mess until he finished. And he gave me this look. And at that moment, I knew that he was looking at the bone that was in my necklace. Can I eat that? I was giving him the look of, no, please, Your Highness. The king was laughing. And the dog jumped on the bone that was on my neck, dragging me all the way to the door. The rope broke up, and then the dog ran away. And I was near the door, and then I hear my wife, "Can you please close the door now that you're close to it?" And then I spoke. "I am not going to close it. You're the one who lost the door. You're the one who's gonna come close it." And then we started crying. How stupid we are. We let a beggar eat our dinner. We let a dog make a mess. How strong-headed we are. How stupid we are. The king was super laughing. And then he said, "You know what? I'm just gonna go find something to eat in our city." And as I was roaming around, Your Highness, I didn't find no shop, no nothing. Everybody was closed. We were gonna stay with no dinner, hungry. We were gonna sleep hungry, Your Highness. But the king was laughing. He said, "Okay, please stop. No more. Don't tell me no more. I got your story. It's okay." No, but first of all, before I help you, I'm gonna tell you that you're the stupidest person I've ever seen. You and your wife. I mean, you should be able to compensate. Don't be strong-headed, because being strong-headed is not gonna get you anywhere. You have to compromise. Now, this is your lesson. But I'm not gonna leave you alone. He gave him 100 golden dinars, sending him away to his house with some food. And then the man learned his lesson to not be strong-headed again, and to always compromise, specifically if you are married. And everybody lived happily ever after. Thank you so much.
Oh, lovely people. That was a fine telling from a great storyteller. And whether they're in Morocco or just want to donate their funds to Morocco, put their hats going towards the Moroccan storytellers, anything would be incredibly appreciated. Because those tellers down in Morocco, you know, it's not come June, they'll look at their tax returns and decide what the government's going to go to them, and there's no social security and there's nothing there. They're just living on thin air, so anything you can put in the hat would be appreciated. Thank you. And however you're watching this, if you're watching it on something else, go to worldstorytellingcafe.com.